Welcome to this video lecture. Let us solve this third numerical on Nyquist plot. Consider this numerical. The open loop transfer function is k divided by s into s plus 2 into s plus 10. Sketch the Nyquist plot and find the range of k. So in the numerator, instead of giving a constant number, they are giving a parameter called k. You have to find what is this k. So you have to find the range of k from where to where, like that, for the system stability. So repeat the same steps whatever I told in the previous video lecture. Step 1. For step 1, I will put s is equal to j omega, k divided by s into s plus 2, s plus 10. Put s is equal to j omega. Now before that, what are the open loop poles you have? Open loop poles. S is equal to 0. You equate the denominator to 0, you will get the open loop poles. S is equal to minus 2 and s is equal to minus 10. So are there any poles present on the right hand side? There is one pole present at the origin here, and there is one pole at minus 2. There is another pole at minus 10. So there are no poles present on the right hand side. Because there are no poles present on the right hand side, I can take P is equal to 0. Capital P represents the number of poles on the right hand side, the number of open loop poles on the right hand side of the S plane. Now you find capital M by taking modulus of G into H. Repeat the same steps. Modulus of numerator k will be same, and I did not substitute s is equal to j omega. So when you put s is equal to j omega, k divided by j omega into j omega plus 2 into j omega plus 10. Okay, now you take magnitude. What is magnitude of denominator? J omega. If you take magnitude of j omega, you will get only omega. And what is magnitude of next term? It is like a plus jb. So a square plus b square. Yeah, I'm sorry. Instead of a, what do you have? 2. So I can write it as 2 square plus b square. B means omega. So I can write it as 2 square plus omega square. There is one more term in the denominator. Take magnitude, you will get omega square plus 10 square. Now similarly find the phase angle. Phase angle, numerator they have k, so there is no phase angle for numerator. In the denominator you have j omega term. As you know from the Bode plot, if you have any denominator j omega, what is the phase angle of the j omega? Minus 90 degree. And there is a second term in the denominator, j omega plus 2. For that, if you take minus tan inverse of omega by 2. Why minus tan inverse? Denominator term, that's why. Another term is there, so minus tan inverse of omega by 10 you will get. Now magnitude and phase angle is over. Now go for step 2. In step 2, I have to take the contour. Contour you have to take this as sigma j omega. This diagram is S-plane diagram. And are there any poles present at the origin? Yes, I have in this problem. So mark that pole. There is one pole present at the origin. Now how you should take the contour? You cannot take the contour as the entire j omega. Okay, so I should not take the contour wherever pole is present. You should bypass that and you have to take the contour. So I'll start the contour from here. Okay, instead of starting the contour from origin, I'll start it from a slightly above origin. So I'll take the entire thing, I'll go up to plus j infinity, and then I'll take the entire RHP as the contour. Then I will come to minus j infinity. From minus j infinity, then I will not go to 0. origin, I'll just stop before origin only. Then I have to take a bypass. Bypass means like this. Okay, because there is a pole present at origin, you have to take a bypass and then you have to take the contour like this. Now you can call this point wherever you started as A, and you can call this point, infinity point, as B. A to B you have to take always in clockwise direction, B to C, and then C to call this point as D, and then again D to, there is one more point here. After D you can take it as E, point E, and you can call this point also as some other thing F. Okay, F is nothing but this small circle point. Remember, the radius of the small circle is represented as small r, which is approximately equal to 0, or small r is the radius of the bypass circle. You should take it as tending to 0. What is the direction? See, you started from A to B, B to C, C to D clockwise, D to E, and E to F, correct? No? So E to F and F to A back. Wherever you started, your contour should end there only. So I should take the direction in clockwise. See, A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and E to A back. Okay. Now what is the radius of the capital R? I mean, what is the radius of the big circle? It is equal to infinity. Contour is infinity. Now after taking this much, first you have to take the section AB, and then you have to start mapping. Section AB you take. For section AB, at point A, what is omega value? See, at point A, if the radius of this small circle is 0, okay, if the radius of the small circle is 0, can I not tell that point A is approximately origin only? Okay, if the radius of the small circle is tending to 0, then I can tell this point A is approximately origin only. So remember, always for any problems you have to take the point A also as 0. You have to take this as plus J0, and point E is slightly down the origin. That is why you have to take approximately as minus J0. Is that clear? So point A, though it is slightly above the origin, you have to still take it as 0 only. So at point A, what is omega? Approximately 0. Now put omega is equal to 0 and you find the answer for capital M. So when you put omega 0, denominator is 0. So capital M is infinity. Now also find the phase angle. Put omega is equal to 0 in the phase angle. Minus 90 minus tan inverse 0 minus tan inverse 0. Tan inverse 0 is 0. So minus 90 degree is the phase angle. Now at point B. At point B. What is omega value at point B? Infinity. Correct? Point B is always infinity. So omega is infinity. Put omega is equal to infinity and find the answer for capital M. So because omega is there in the denominator, if in the denominator if you put infinity, then capital M becomes 0. So my capital M is 0 for omega infinity. Phi. What is phi becomes? Omega is equal to infinity. Tan inverse of infinity 90. So minus 90 minus 90 minus 90 will give you minus 270 degree. Minus 270 degree. Now find the rotation angle. The rotation angle is always final angle minus initial angle. Minus 270 degree minus of minus initial angle 90 degree. So what is the answer you will get? Minus 270 plus 90 will give you minus 180 degree. What does this minus indicates? You have to write the Nyquist plot diagram in clockwise. You have to write the circle in clockwise direction. Now before writing the diagram, now I have to, next step is you have to rationalize. Correct? No? So rationalize G into H. What is G into H given? k divided by j omega, k by j omega into j omega plus 2. I can write it as reverse way, 2 plus j omega, no problem. Then one more term is j omega plus 10. So I can write it as 10 plus j omega. Now what is the meaning of rationalizing? Whatever the denominator is there, change the sign of the j and write it in the numerator. Divide and multiply. So once again I'll write here 2 plus j omega, 10 plus j omega, multiply and divide by minus j omega minus j omega. Correct, no? In the denominator you have plus j omega, so I should divide and multiply by minus j omega. That is the meaning of rationalizing. Again, in the denominator 2 minus j omega, so divide and multiply by 2 minus j omega. And there is one more term in the denominator, 10 plus j omega. Divide and multiply by the complex conjugate, 10 minus j omega. Now what is that? If you do this, k minus j omega, I will multiply this numerator terms. What happens if you multiply 2 minus j omega into 10 minus j omega? 2 tens are 20. 2 minus j omega minus 10 j omega. You just multiply the terms in the numerator. Then plus j square omega square. And in the denominator what happens? In the denominator j omega into minus j omega becomes minus j square omega square. Correct, no? Minus j square is nothing but 1. I should actually write in the denominator minus j square omega square, but I am not writing minus j square because it is 1. Now what happens to 2 plus j omega into 2 minus j omega? So this into this, multiply. If you multiply, you will get 2 square plus omega square. This is according to complex numbers formula. Then if you multiply 10 j omega with 10 j omega, you will get 10 square plus omega square. So now if you simplify further, what is that you are going to get? In the numerator, you are going to get it as minus k into j omega, and you have 20 minus omega square minus 12j omega. This much you will get. If you simplify it, you will get this much. You can simplify and verify when you are doing whole divided by some denominator. Okay, that denominator I am calling it as capital D. Denominator you have big term, no? That I am calling it as capital D. Now if you multiply in the numerator, what is that you are going to get? If you multiply again the numerator, j omega into 20. So what is that you are going to get? Multiply minus j omega inside, keep k outside, then multiply the remaining thing. If you keep k outside, minus j omega you take it inside and simplify. So you are going to get it as minus 20 j omega plus j omega cube plus 12 omega square j square divided by capital D. This if you simplify, what is that you will get in the numerator? Minus 12 omega square minus 20 j omega plus j omega cube. Okay, whole divided by capital D. This is what you will get. Now I have to split the real terms and imaginary terms, no? So k into minus 12 omega square. Wherever j is not there, that you group it as one side, and wherever j is there, that you group it as another side. So if you take j common, then you are left with omega cube minus 20 omega divided by d. So I am now grouping real term and then imaginary term. After grouping, then you equate real to 0. What is that you will get? If you equate real term to 0, minus 12 omega square into k divided by d is equal to 0. You are finally going to get omega square is 0, right? So what is the meaning of omega square 0? That represents no intersect on imaginary axis. When you equate real to 0, you will get no intersection on imaginary axis. Okay, when you get omega 0, there is no intersection on the imaginary axis. That is the meaning. Now you equate imaginary part to 0. K into omega cube minus 20 omega by capital D is equal to 0. D goes to 0, K goes to 0. Omega cube minus 20 omega is equal to 0. Simplify it. Omega cube is equal to 20 omega. Omega square is equal to 20. Okay. That's all. Omega square is equal to 20 you got. So now is your omega value 0? No. I got some non-zero value for omega. That represents there is you got a single value for omega. No, omega is a single value. So that means because you got a single value for omega, there is a single one intersect on which axis? Real axis. Because you have equated the imaginary term to 0. That is why you are getting a non-zero number for omega. Single non-zero number for omega. That means there is one intersect on the real axis. One intersect on the real axis. Now after knowing all these things, now I have to draw my Nyquist plot for which section? Section AB. Okay, I am drawing the Nyquist plot for section AB. So real part of G into H, imaginary part of G into H. This is GH plane, origin. 0 degree, minus 90 degree, minus 180 degree, minus 270 degree. Okay. Now I will start marking my axis. Where is the starting point for A? You got for A you got M is equal to infinity and angle is minus 90 degree. So on minus 90 degree mark infinity. Where is minus 90 degree line? On minus 90 degree mark infinity. Say I cannot show infinity, no, on minus 90 degree. So I assume that this point is only infinity because I cannot show clearly where is infinity. I assume that this point is only infinity. That's why I am marking it as infinity. Okay, now this is your point A. Where is point B? At point B, M is 0 and the angle is minus 270 degree. Come back. M is 0. Okay, angle is minus 270 degree. So minus 270 degree is here in the top, and minus 270 degree 0 means magnitude is 0 but minus 270 degree it comes here. Okay, so this point is point B, 0 with minus 270 degree. Now where to mark the intersection points? Where are the intersection points? Are there any intersection on the imaginary axis? No. So there is one intersection on the real axis, correct? So real axis means which one? This is your real axis, correct? No, horizontal is real axis. Whether to mark it the intersection here or here, I should mark here. Why? Because from point A to point B, how you have to draw? From point A to B, the rotation angle should be minus 180 degree. Minus means you have to draw the curve in clockwise. So from point A to B, you have to draw it in clockwise. So you have to draw from clockwise. From point A clockwise means you have to come like this. Okay. So intersection has to be here only, no? So you should not mark any intersection on the right hand side of the real axis. Understood why you should not mark the intersection on the right hand side of the real axis? Only one intersection is there on the real axis. and that should come here only. Why? Because from point A you have to go in clockwise. When you go in clockwise, here only you should mark the intersection. It will not come here. So now one intersection is there on the real axis. Now you mark this. Start your Nyquist plot from point A, intersect here, and then after that make a curve and then join it, end the curve at point B. End the curve at point B. After intersection you should make a curve and then immediately that curve should end at point B. After joining intersection only the curve should end at point B. And how is the direction? Point A to B. Point A to B. So the direction should be point A to B, like this. Okay. Now at this intersection point, wherever your intersection is happening on the real axis, no. On this real axis, what is the omega value you have got? On one intersection on the real axis, what is omega you got? Omega square is equal to 20. So here, let me write, this is your intersection, no, on the real axis. Let me write there as omega square is equal to 20. Is there any intersection on the imaginary axis? No. On the imaginary axis, there is no intersection. Only intersection is present at the infinity. That is not shown here. Is it clear? So there is no cutting on the imaginary axis. There is no any intersection on the imaginary axis. Done. So now this is my half of the Nyquist plot for section A to B. Now you should find the section. Next, second section. After A to B, now you have to take B, C, D. Okay. On all the problems, B, C, D always maps to origin. Next section is section D to E. Next section is section D to E. See, section D to E is the mirror image of section A to B. Correct, no? D to E is nothing but the mirror image of A to B. So I need not do that also. So I can simply write section D to E, mirror image of section A to B. Now that's all. Not yet. One more part is left out. You need to find the mapping of that also. Which is that part? D to E is over. Now E to F to A, this small circle, that also you have to convert. In the previous problems, because there was no pole present on the origin, this was not there. But now you have to convert E to F A, E F A, E F A. That small circle also you have to convert. Okay, how to convert that small circle? I will take this. Section EFA. This section EFA is nothing but this small circle. Okay. Now for that small circle, how to find out? You have to put S is equal to small r into e power j5. Okay, where you should substitute in the given transfer function. Now what is the transfer function? GH is equal to K divided by S into S plus 2, S plus n. So wherever S is there, now you substitute R into e power j5. Small r into e power j5 in place of S. Done. I have substituted. Now after substituting, now you have to take limit r tends to 0. You know why small r tends to 0? Because the small circle, which is a bypass, is approximately the radius should be 0. That's why I am substituting limit r tends to 0. Now what happens if you take limit r tends to 0 for this k value? r into e power j5, and then r into e power j5 plus 2, and then r into e power j5 plus 10. If r is approximately 0, okay, if r is approximately 0, then can I write this r e power j5 plus 2 can be approximately written as 2, because r becomes 0, no? If r becomes 0, 0 plus 2 can be written as 2 only. Similarly, r into e power j5 plus 10 can be approximately written as 10 only, because r is 0. Now that I will substitute here. Limit r tends to 0, k by this r I will keep it as it is. Okay, instead of r e power j5 plus 2, I will write only 2 and I will write only 10. Okay, now what happens if you take it to the numerator? What happens if you put limit r tends to 0 here? When you put r tends to 0, one more r is there in the denominator. The whole term goes to infinity, no? The whole term goes to infinity. And when the angle comes to the numerator, magnitude goes to infinity. What about angle? In the denominator, the angle is e power j5. When e power j5 goes to numerator, what happens? E power minus j5. So I can write that as magnitude is infinity at what angle? Minus 5. Okay. So for the small circle, you got magnitude is infinity. The small circle, even once you convert, the magnitude is becoming infinity. But the angle is minus 5. But the angle is minus 5. Now let us see what happens to that. So how was the small circle? I'll write the small circle once again here. Okay, and the small circle was like this, starting from here to here. Okay, this is E, F, A. This is small circle with radius 0, no? And from at E, what is the angle? At E, the angle is minus 90 degree. At F, what is the line angle? 0 degree. And at A, what is the angle? Plus 90 degree. Correct, no? So now how the angle is varying for the small circle? For the small circle, phi is the angle. How phi is varying? Phi is varying like first it is minus 90 degree, then see the direction. First 90 degree, E you should take first. After E you should take F. Why? Because of the arrow mark direction. The arrow mark is from E to F, F to A, no? That is why first you should take E, then F. Minus 90 degree, then 0 degree, then plus 90 degree. Correct, no? This is E, this is F, this is A. Now what is the equation you got after deriving limit, what is it? R tends to 0, capital G into H. What is that you got? You got infinity at angle minus phi. If phi is minus 90, substitute this phi value here. Now what happens? Infinity at an angle. When phi is minus 90 degree, this becomes plus 90 degree. Correct, no? Because you have minus phi. After 90 degree, 0 degree. 0 will be 0 only, because if you take minus also, minus 0 is also 0 only. After 0 degree, next you have 90 degree, but because of this you got minus phi, so you are going to get it as minus 90 degree. Okay, now using this you have to draw the Nyquist plot. So I am going to draw the Nyquist plot now. Nyquist plot. So Nyquist plot, for that I have to take my real part and then imaginary part. I am not writing the complete Nyquist plot. I am writing the Nyquist plot only for section E, F, A. This is the Nyquist plot for section E, F, A. Previously what we wrote, no? Okay, this is the Nyquist plot for A to B. This is the Nyquist plot for A to B only. Now I am writing the Nyquist plot for EFA. So from where I have to start? See, remember this is 90 degree, 0 degree, minus 90 degree. So where is my E? see, this will be your E, this will be your F, this will be your A, E, F, A direction. So where is E now? 90 degree. And what is that? Infinity you have to take. Magnitude is infinity. So mark infinity. I'll assume this is only infinity. So from this infinity point on 90 degree, this is my E. Where is F? On 0 degree. So you have to take infinity on 0 degree. This is F. And where is A? A is on minus 90 degree. Okay, this is only, I am taking it as infinity. This is A. Okay. Now from where to where? E, you have to keep drawing the circle now. Join all the 3 points and join the circle. E to F and F to A. So your direction should be E to F and then F to A. Like this you are going to get. What is the radius of this circle? Infinity. So now I will combine all the Nyquist plot. A to B is ready. BCD is not required. D to E is the mirror image. And EFA, I got the circle like this. I will combine all the Nyquist plot. And now I will write the total Nyquist plot. Complete Nyquist plot. Complete Nyquist plot. For this complete Nyquist plot, I will take this as a real axis, real part of G into H. This is my imaginary part of G into H. And what is this plane called as? This plane is called as G into H plane. Now I have to draw all my diagrams. How was your A to B Nyquist plot? A to B Nyquist plot was starting from this A point. Okay, this is infinity, and from here to this is your B point. Okay, so it was like this. Okay, now how to take your mirror image? For mirror image, I have to extend my vertical axis. Let me extend my vertical axis. Okay, this is my IGH. Now consider you have to write the mirror image of this, no? So how to write? Let me write it in green. Start from this point, write it in a reverse way. Okay. However, the shape you have written in the downwards, no, A to B, same thing you have to write it in a mirror image in the upward direction. And the crossover points should be common for both. The intersection point should be same. And how is my direction? A to B, A to B. And here from B to, again it goes like this. The direction is like this. And this is D point. This is your E point. And from E to A, how to write E to A? E to F to A. It is like a big infinite circle. That also I will write now. I will write that in a different color. So starting from E, this is the infinity point. Starting from E, I have to write a circle. Okay, and the direction of the circle is like this. This point is also infinity, which is F. So this is my Nyquist plot what I got. Okay, and remember we wrote what is the intersection point we wrote at this intersection. What is omega value? Omega square is nothing but 20. Is that 20 we got? Where is that? Yeah, at this intersection point omega square is 20. That is important for us to do the next calculation. So at this intersection point it is omega square is equal to 20. We don't know where is minus 1 coming. Do we know where is minus 1? We don't know. For that we have to calculate what is this point, then only we will understand whether minus 1 comes this side or this side. Now let us call this point as x. Let us call that point as x. So now x is a point. X is a point. What is omega value at x? X is a point on real axis. X is a point on real axis. What is the value? Omega square is equal to 20. How to find x? What is the formula to find x? X is equal to real part, whatever the real part you got in the first step, no? For that real part, you have to substitute omega square is equal to 20. Then you will get the answer for x. That's all. Now you substitute real part. What is that real part? Let me write down from my step 2. Where is that real part? Here. See this real part. K minus 12 omega square divided by capital D. Capital D means you know what is capital D. You have substituted. Correct. That is your capital D. So in the previous step, capital D is there. See, this is your capital D. I'll anyhow mark it here. This whatever the denominator is there, no? This is capital D. That I have to take down. So now come to this real part. How to find out x? X means intersection point on the real axis. That I will write the real part equation. What is my real part equation? I got the real part equation as minus 12 omega square k divided by omega square divided by capital D. Capital D is what? Omega square into omega square plus 4 into omega square plus 100. Okay. For this you have to put omega square is equal to 20. This is the last step. Now you use your calculator. Wherever omega square is there, you put omega square as 20 and you will get this answer. You are going to get the answer as minus k into 4.167 into 10 to the power minus 3. This is the answer you will get. K you don't know what is that. Keep k as it is. So you will get minus k into 4.167 into 10 power minus 3. That is this x point here. Is it clear? Now you need to find what is the k value, right? So what is the Nyquist stability criteria? By Nyquist stability criteria, n should be equal to minus p. N is nothing but your number of circles around minus 1. What is the capital P value you got in the first step? Capital P value you got in the first step is 0. So that I will substitute now. Capital P. Capital P is 0. So minus 0 is 0 only. So n should be 0. So then only your system is said to be stable. Okay. N should be equal to P. What is P? P is 0. So that means your n should be equal to 0. Then only your system is said to be stable system. N should be equal to 0 means there should not be any circles around your minus 1. Correct? No? Now you tell me where should be your minus 1? Should be your minus 1 here? If your minus 1 is here, then how many circles are there around minus 1? If the minus 1 is here, there is one circle and there is a second circle, bigger circle. There are two circles, one is a small circle and the other one is your big circle. So I cannot write my minus 1 here. Why? Because if you write minus 1 here, then you will be having capital N is equal to 2 circles. But I want capital N should be equal to 0. Then only my system will be stable. So instead of minus 1 present here, where should be my minus 1? It should be present somewhere here. Okay. Then if you keep your minus 1 here, then only there won't be any circles around the minus 1. Understood? So what should be your minus 1? Where should be your minus 1? Your minus 1. So your minus 1 should be here. this should be your -1. Somewhere other than outside the circle, your -1 should be there. Then only I can tell there are no zeros, there are no circles around -1. Then only if n is equal to 0, the system is stable. Now, now tell me what should be your x value. Your x should be greater than -1, no? Correct, no? See the diagram and tell. Your x is present here and -1 is here. So I can write x is greater than -1. Correct, no? So that's what I have written. X is greater than -1. Now you substitute whatever the x value you got. How I wrote this x greater than -1? From figure. Now you substitute whatever the x value you got here. So what is x? Minus k 4.167 into 10 power minus 3 should be greater than -1. I don't want minus on the both sides. So if you remove the minus sign, what happens to the greater than symbol? So if you take minus on both sides, so minus will become plus on both sides. So greater than symbol will become less than symbol. That is according to mathematics. Okay, I know. I hope you know that. Okay, if you take minus sign, remove minus sign on both sides, this greater than symbol will become less than symbol. Now you take this number to the right hand side. Take this number to the denominator on the right hand side. So k should be less than 1 divided by 4.167 into 10 power minus 3. So now what is that you will get? K is less than. What is it you got in calculator? 1 divided by 4.16 into 10 power minus 3. If you do it in calculator, your answer will be approximately 240. Your answer, you will get it as 239.998. That I am approximating it to 240. Okay. So now, and you know that k is less than 240, and one more thing you know that k should always be positive. It cannot be negative. Correct, no? So if k is positive, then k cannot be less than 0, no? Okay, because k is positive, k is always greater than 0. So one more thing I can add on the other side, k is greater than 0, because you know k is a positive number. Okay, k cannot be negative. K means gain of the control system. It's always a positive. Okay, so therefore this less than 0, I only inserted that. Okay, actually I got k less than 240. Less than 0 I only inserted because I know k is a positive number. So this is the value they asked in the question to find out. In the question they asked to find the range of the k so that the system is stable, no? So when the system is stable, when n is equal to 0. When n becomes equal to 0, when you take the point x is greater than -1, then only n becomes 0. So for x greater than -1, if you substitute and simplify, you are going to get k greater than 0 and less than 240. This is the range of k for system said to be stable system. If you maintain k value between 0 and 240, then only you can tell the system as a stable system. If you maintain k value other than 240, like 250 or 300 or more than 240, any value if you keep for k, then the system becomes unstable system. Is it clear? Only for this range of k the system is stable. Done. This much you need to do for solving this problem.